Tusk references Budapest memorandum over trilateral meeting proposal in Hungarian capital. Not just land seizure, RSW reveals Kremlin's real goal in Ukraine and how Britain ready to send troops to Ukraine to protect skies and ports. That news next. Russia's main goal in the war against Ukraine is to establish political control over the entire country, not just to occupy certain regions such as Donetsk, the RSW reports. Analysts examined a statement by Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov in an interview. Lavrov claimed that Moscow never talked about the need to seize any territories, including Crimea and Donbas. At the same time, Lavrov put forward demands that effectively deny Ukrainian sovereignty, in particular the repeal of laws on language and religion. RSW analysts stress that such statements reflect the Kremlin's true goals: to remove Ukrainians' democratically elected government and replace it with a pro-Russian one in order to gain full political control over the country.
Considering Russia's territorial demands separately from demands concealed by its references to root causes obscures the reality that the Kremlin views its war demands as indivisible. The Kremlin aims to accomplish all of these goals and has shown no willingness to compromise any of them or sacrifice some for others to facilitate or complete a peace process.
According to the analysts, the Kremlin seeks Ukrainians' demilitarization, a ban on NATO membership, and a change of government, and is prepared to pursue these aims through both military and diplomatic means. Ultimately, the Kremlin launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022 after 8 years of failed attempts to bring the country back under its control through hybrid military campaigns dating back to 2004. RSW notes that Russia similarly seeks to expand its control over other former Soviet states, including NATO members Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. So far, its efforts to establish influence in the Baltic states have failed. At the same time, the Kremlin has achieved far greater success in Belarus and Georgia and is now working to strengthen its grip on Minsk in order to fully erase the notion of Belarusian independence. Earlier, Russian dictator Vladimir Putin presented a list of demands to end the war against Ukraine during his meeting with US President Donald Trump in Alaska. These demands included not only territorial concessions. Reuters reported that Russia may agree to withdraw from part of the occupied Ukrainian territories, including areas of the Kharkiv and Sumy regions, while Ukraine would allegedly have to give up some eastern lands that Moscow failed to capture. Meanwhile, President Volodymyr Zelensky, during talks with Trump, did not dismiss the idea of a possible territorial exchange. However, Zelensky emphasized that such decisions cannot be made without taking into account the will of the Ukrainian people. Britain is ready to send its troops to Ukraine to protect the skies and seaports, but will not move them closer to the front line with Russia. The Guardian reports sitting chief of the defense staff of Britain, Admiral Tony Radakin. Radakin will soon inform his American colleagues at a meeting in the Pentagon that British troops will be ready to defend seaports and organize air defense operations in Ukraine. He will also confirm that Britain will provide soldiers for logistics and training. Earlier, several sources reported the deployment of up to 30,000 servicemen to protect Ukrainian facilities, but this number was reduced due to the resistance of some European countries.
Wednesday is a really important moment. Nothing happens in Washington without the president, Donald Trump, Ed, giving the green light. So, Trump giving his support to security guarantees on Monday kick-started a lot of activity.
Security guarantees for Ukraine. On August 18th, a meeting was held in the White House between the leaders of Ukraine, the US, France, Finland, Germany, Britain, Italy, as well as the head of the European Commission and the NATO Secretary General. The main topic of discussion was security guarantees for Ukraine. The allies considered introducing protection mechanisms similar to NATO's Article 5, but outside the alliance. During the talks, Donald Trump confirmed the participation of the US in these guarantees, but emphasized that the main burden should fall on the European partners and ruled out sending American troops to Ukraine. Following the meeting in the White House, about 10 countries agreed to send troops to Ukraine. All the details regarding the deployment of troops to Ukraine may be discussed in the coming days. The Supreme Allied Commander Europe of NATO, as well as the heads of defense ministries of the member states, will take part in the negotiations. US President Donald Trump has said that Washington may provide air support to Ukraine as part of a potential peace agreement with Russia, reported by Sky News.
When it comes to security, Europeans are willing to put people on the ground. We're willing to help them with things, especially, probably, by air.
Meanwhile, Trump reiterated that US troops will not be sent to Ukraine. He did not give detailed comments, but White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told journalists that US air support is an option and a possibility.
The president has definitively stated US boots will not be on the ground in Ukraine. But we can certainly help in the coordination and perhaps provide other means of security guarantees to our European allies.
Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk criticized the idea of holding trilateral talks between the leaders of Ukraine, the United States and the Russian Federation to end the war in Budapest, recalling that it was there that a memorandum on guarantees of Ukrainians' territorial integrity and security from the United States and the Russian Federation was signed in 1994.
Budapest. Not everyone remembers this, but in 1994, Ukraine already received guarantees of territorial integrity from the United States, Russia, and Great Britain in Budapest. Maybe I'm superstitious, but this time I would try to find a different place.
Earlier, Politico, citing its own sources in the US presidential administration, reported that the White House plans to hold peace talks between the presidents of Ukraine and the United States, Volodymyr Zelensky and Donald Trump, with Vladimir Putin in Budapest.
While the Secret Service often considers multiple locations and the final venue could change, Budapest is emerging as the White House's top choice, said two people who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss private conversations. Russian President Vladimir Putin has told Trump he prefers Moscow, while French President Emmanuel Macron has pushed for Geneva as the ideal meeting location. Not to be outdone, Switzerland's foreign minister has promised Putin immunity for an outstanding war crimes arrest warrant if the country, known for its neutrality, is chosen for peace talks.
Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, when asked about a possible Budapest meeting during a Tuesday press briefing, said, "I'm not going to confirm or deny any locations." At the same time, she confirmed that Putin had agreed to meet with Zelensky, adding that the White House was working with Russia and Ukraine to make the bilateral meeting happen. The publication notes that now Russian officials are beginning to slow down any meeting between Zelensky and Putin. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Support Ukraine, like and subscribe.